to see if I am going to be live this time. If not, we'll have to... There we go. I think we are. I see my head. It's a beautiful thing, folks. 2 eyeballs watching so far. Well, 4 eyeballs, technically, watching so far. Unless somebody's got 1 eye, then it's 3 eyeballs. I don't know. We are here. Good way to burn 3 minutes, I guess. Yeah, this is it. I can see my little transcript showing up live, real time, minus like the 7-second delay in case I say something like poop. Hey, Joan, good morning. Got 6 people in. Sorry for that, folks. I had to, I guess, reauthorize. And, you know, this is one of those things where it's 2023, and you would think that they would be able to tell me that I'm going to have to reauthorize before I try to, you know, I was here half an hour early, clicking stuff and getting my tech ready, and everything's like, yeah, good to go. And then, of course, I click the button to go live, press the big old red circle, and it's like, yeah, you're live. And I just clicked over, and I wasn't live. So had to figure that out, but we figured it out. We've got things going. Matt's got 3 eyes. He does. That's okay. We're gonna move on quickly from that. And Robin says heads, tails. It's okay. I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about today. Didn't prepare anything. Just figured I'd come in and make some jokes. Got lots of stand up that I'm prepared with. You know. Let's see. What did the no? I'm just kidding. I don't actually have any jokes. Adam says we're live. I'm live. There's a 7-second delay, at least 10-second delay, tech delay. Don't worry. It's not worried I'm going to say anything bad. It knows I'm going to say something bad. It knows I'm going to say something inappropriate. Hold on. My wife sent me a video. I must watch it. We're waiting for people to come in. So, you know, just talk amongst yourselves. Whoa. Dang. She's out hiking and she sent me a video of a rattlesnake. Kid you not. This thing just ate. It is like this big around, and it's probably this long. You probably can't see my hands. It's like I would say 4 feet, easy if it was stretched out. Dang. Thanks, Roland. That rattlesnake is pretty inspiring. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Good morning, everyone. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. I got to respond. This rattlesnake is insane. Holy cow. There. Now I don't have to talk to her for another hour. Cool. Yeah, Adam, plot amongst yourselves. You got to go like this when you plot. That's the official way to do it. Yeah, rattlesnakes. Crazy, right? Like, we have rattlesnakes. I mean, we're high desert up here in Colorado, and so not out of the realm of possibility that there'd be rattlesnakes at this park. We live next to some of the best biking trails in the world, and people hiking trails. People hike there all the time. It's nature, right? Things in nature want to eat you. They want to kill you and eat your blood. My assumption, anyway. I think that's true for most animals. Anyway, I'm going to shut up about rattlesnakes and plotting. And we're still waiting for people to come in. We got a handful here. And I would like 2 handfuls of people before we start. So go tell your friends to jump on in here. Go tell them we are live in the bestest, most inspiring place on the planet, Book Career in a Year. And yeah, we're talking about some fun stuff today, I hope. But I'll wait to introduce that because, like I said, we're waiting on a couple handfuls of people. Hope you had a good weekend, a good week, a couple weeks. Actually, it's like 2 weeks I think we missed. So it's been about 3 weeks since last we talked. Some of you I've talked to, unfortunately. Doug, Robin. I'm just kidding. Good to see you guys again. It's been a while. Yeah, I've been pretty slammed, honestly, with stuff. There's been Thursdays, the last 2 Thursdays I've had events or meetings, conferences, things like that I just couldn't squish out of the way. 1 week I was sick, not, deathly sick, but I coughed once. Okay, folks, and I figured just cancel my day and just start over tomorrow. I'm a huge baby when it comes to stuff like that. So anyway, we're back. I'm not coughing at all. Haven't coughed in over a day, so I'm definitely not sick. I think I'm healed up. I'm rested. We just had a retreat, more of a workshop retreat kind of thing. It's called Write Repeat, and it was fun. It was a lot, but it was fun. And yeah, Robin asked, how was the retreat? Anyone who was there? So there were a couple people that liked this post. JT was there. He may not be in the call. Mark, I think, is in. I think he's in Vegas eating all the food. He keeps posting about all his food. Lynn was there. I don't know if she's here or not, but I don't know if she comes to these. Patty, I did talk to Doug. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hopefully you'll be in Nink so you can help me get through. He's going to be there too. And yeah, we're going to prevail, guys. If you're there and Doug's there, it's okay. We're going to prevail together. We will prevail. We'll take on the Doug. Can we just start calling him that? Doug Pratt is now officially the Doug. All right, cool. Said it. It's a rule. Boom, done. Patty, can't wait to see you, man. If not, Nink, maybe Vegas. You're going to be in 20 books. We'll see you there. And anyway, back to the retreat. So I am at the point where, oh, there's Lou. Yeah, Lou was there. Hey, Lou, he can attest to the retreat happened. I don't want to put words in his mouth and tell him, say it was the most amazing thing he's ever experienced, but it's totally the most amazing thing. I'm still in recovery mode. And when I left the retreat, as amazing as it was and as life-giving and life-changing as it was for me, I didn't want to ever do it again. It was a lot. It was too much. It was, it was just a lot. And that's not anyone's fault but my own. I get on these live streams and I talk to you all about, managing energy and how to stay productive, and that physical and spiritual and emotional health go into mental and, financial health and things like that, which we'll get into a little bit today. And I didn't do any of that well. I mean, I did some of it, but I didn't do it well enough, right? I failed myself and I failed everyone else. And I don't know that they would have picked up on that. I know that I told all of them that I was tired, but I don't think they understand the extent of how tired I was. And so I left the retreat on Sunday and I knew that I was never going to do this again. This time, or after, a few days since, I'm not as adamant that I won't do it again. It's looking likely that I will. I just need to do things different this time. So that's how the retreat went for me. Just being honest with you guys, I'm not, I don't want to come at you with fake, joy or fake, I don't know the right word. You know what I'm trying to say. I want to be real with you all. And it was cool, but it was hard. And I can make it less hard next time for me. And I think I should. So it was good. It was a great experience. And yeah, I'm about to do it again. On that note, we've got a couple handfuls of people in here now because Doug's here. And as he said, he's 2 handfuls. We're going to talk about something I did talk to you retreat people about, called Your Next Big Move. And it's the same sort of talk. It's going to be a little bit condensed, so you're not going to get the full, amazing, fantastic presence that I had there. No, it's the same talk, but the reason I'm bringing it to you now is I didn't realize how impactful this talk would be on me, even though I was the one that wrote it and gave it. This is something that I've really, really been thinking about a lot recently, and recently meaning the last year or so, right? Ever since my accident, car accident last year, things sort of started to click, and I really started to approach my life in a different way, my career in a different way, everything that I do in a different way, and I would think a better way. And I'm still learning, I'm still kind of adapting, I'm still growing in this, but I'm approaching the things that I do, the things that I take on, bite off, whatever, in a new way. And part of that is this concept of my next big move. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about. That's what this live stream's about. You know the drill. If you have never been here before, welcome. Thanks for being here. You're in the right place, no matter where you're watching this on the interwebs. But go to the Facebook group. That's where we kind of all hang out a little bit. I say a little bit because I'm trying to eventually move us all to the app Book Career in a Year. Yeah, there's an app, folks. Android just dropped last week. Boom. iPhone, Android, whatever you're on. Not Windows Phone. Nobody uses those anymore, right? Is that still a thing? Android, iOS. We've got an app. Right now, it's a baby. It's super slick, super awesome. It works great, totally free. It's pretty much limited to the courses that we have for Book Career in a Year, which are also super affordable. So if you're not in those, go jump in those. You can do all the courses offline. You can download them, watch them, on your phone. So that's what the app is for. But what I'm trying to do is build some more community into the app. There's already some places for discussion like this. There's already some places for live video like this. I'm still building it out as we go, but I want you to get in first because you're super cool, and that would be cool. So go download the app, leave it a 10-star review. I don't even know. Go tell people how awesome it is. Look, it's the only app, and certainly the first app, that is dedicated, native. Okay, this isn't like some skin of a website. Like, this is an app that has been created by my dev team. They're out in Bangladesh. They're amazing. They built this app from the ground up. Native app. It's the only one that's focused on indie publishing, self-publishing, writing books, building a career out of it. There's nothing like it, guys. So yeah, I'm blowing a little smoke here, myself, but it's super cool. The point is, if you're watching this on any other place on the internet, you're fine. You can stay there. You can live there. I'm going to check comments there on the Facebook group specifically. But go to the app, download the app, just get it, just check it out. Let me know what you think. Okay, I'm constantly making improvements to it. Dev team's constantly working on it to make it better and give you what I'm trying to build here, which is community around building a book career in a year. So, all that done. All right, your next move. This is how I'm approaching things. Okay, this is how I'm kind of looking at my life and my career for about a year now. Coming up in October, it'll be a year on the dot since I almost died and everything changed. We're all successful in our own ways, okay? And we all kind of know what we're supposed to be doing generally. Would you agree with that, right? Like, we all know, okay, I should probably be writing more books. I'm an author. Books are good. Books are important. That's true. However, one of the challenges we face is looking at the in-between. And what I mean by that is the book that you need to write next, and you might have the next 5 books you need to write. But you also know that there's this concept of the mountain. If you're at the retreat, you know what we're talking about here. This is Neil Gaiman, commencement speech or commencement address he gave at a university. He talks about moving closer to his mountain. He moves closer to the ultimate goal, the big thing, okay? Take over the world. Maybe probably shouldn't be that, but be the most recommended thriller author on the planet, or just be well known as an author, or just be successful as an author. And again, we'll define that later. But there's a mountain out there. There's this looming huge peak that you're moving toward or away from, or you're standing still. And his concept was, and I love this, it's always do things that move you closer to the mountain. And that's great. We know that the daily task we have to do is write a book or do some advertising, or got to send that newsletter email out. Whatever it is, those are like the daily tasks, the small little chunks that we have to do. In writing a book, I'm not saying is a small daily task, but part of it is, write every day, write every week, whatever it is. That's sort of the basics, right? That's sort of the foundation of what we do as authors. Sure. And then there's this mountain, and there's this giant thing like, okay, well, yeah, one day I want to be Stephen King. Great, that's your mountain. The problem that I ran into was I had the mountain in view. I could see that thing that I was working toward, ultimately, that I thought I was working toward. And I could see the day-to-day stuff. I've got the Draft to Digital job. I'm doing a lot of stuff with them. I'm doing all this book career in a year stuff. I'm writing books. Of course, I've got the fiction side. There's a lot going on, but I know what I'm doing day in and day out. I can wake up and have a plethora of things to do, okay? The in-between is what was missing. My 6-month plan, non-existent. I knew that I had to write this book, and then when that book finished, I had to start the other book. And there was different series I wanted to launch, and so when that one was kind of done, I could jump over and do the other one. Building out, a company inside of Draft to Digital, like, okay, well, I know what the task is I have to do, and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one. But I never really understood this in-between stuff. This stuff that isn't really the mountain, but it's certainly bigger than the day-to-day or the week-to-week or even the month-to-month. It's bigger than that, but it's not the whole mountain. And I realized that what I was missing was this concept that I'm going to give you now, which is called the next big move. Okay? So these things are like stepping stones. They're bigger than your daily tasks or your weekly tasks, but they're not the mountain. They're not the huge mountain, but they lead to it. Okay, so this is just small, medium, large, right? You're small, we've got identified the large, we've got identified that's the mountain, but this is kind of that medium thing. This is the stuff in between. And I want to give you a little framework to come up with this stuff because if you can look in terms of, not only daily and weekly and your ultimate goal, but the next 6 months, the next year, the next 9 months, whatever, then you're going to be set, because you can then take that, and that's a very specific thing that you already know moves you closer to your mountain, and you can break it down, turn those into your daily tasks, and you will move towards your mountain a lot faster. So that's the intro. Okay, that's kind of what we're talking about. I hope that makes sense. I hope that you will spend some time thinking about this, because it's not usually as obvious as, just picking something arbitrarily and saying that's my next big move. Okay, let me define the move, though. Let me define what this is, because when I say next big move, I've got three things that I consider make up this next big move. The first is, and I've already mentioned this, it's something big. Okay, so it's something bigger than what you've probably already been doing. You say, I need to write this next book. I need to finish this next book. That's great, but that's not big enough, guys, because you are an author. You already write books. That's kind of par for the course, right? That's kind of like barrier of entry. You already do that. You already write books. So guess what? That's part of your day-to-day job now. Now, if you were, an accountant and you wanted to write a book, then that could be a next big move. It could be the next big thing. Like, you're an accountant, you don't usually write books, so that is a big move for an accountant, right? But not for an author. That's what you do. That's your job. So that doesn't count as your next big move. It needs to be big. Maybe it's a whole new series that you need to launch, finish, publish, send out there in 9 months. That could be a next big move. Maybe it's totally redesign your website, but not just set up a new WordPress site and click publish. This needs to be big. This needs to be, what's the reason you're building a website? Well, I'm not getting the right engagement with my readership. Okay, great. So now you're talking new website on a new platform that you own with a new domain and all the different pieces that go into it, including your mailing list integrations and the automations after somebody signs up. So it's all this all-encompassing, engagement tool, engagement platform, if you will. That could be a next big move, because it's big. It's bigger than just redesigning a website. It's bigger than just setting up BookFunnel and hoping somebody finds it one day. Okay, so and we'll get into this a little bit, don't worry. That's the first one. It's got to be something big. The second thing to determine your next big move is it has to be different. And this is where, again, going back to the accountant analogy, if you're an accountant, what do you do all day? Boring stuff, right? Spreadsheets. I don't know. Talk to the IRS, whatever the accountants do. I don't know. I'm not an accountant. You don't write books. So something different could be write a book. But for you, for an author, not different enough. The reason it's important for this for this second one, the reason it's important for this next big move to be different is it breaks you out of the rut that you might be in, the groove you might be in. So I've always said that a lot of times we get into a groove, which is good. The rhythm, we get good at doing the same thing over and over again, but it's really hard to recognize that all of a sudden we're in a rut, which is not good. We're doing the same thing all the time, right? Subtle shift, but we can do the same thing all the time and push forward and push forward. And what got you to where you are now isn't going to get you there, right? It's not going to get you up the mountain. You're just churning, you're writing books that you're doing the same thing. Great. And maybe you're growing, maybe you're sliding forward a little bit, but you're all of a sudden you're in a rut that you feel like you can't break out of. You need something different. That's where your next big move comes in. The mountain's the same. And your day-to-day, writing that same book, the same series, the same action, adventure, thriller, whatever it is the same. Okay? Switching genres, maybe you've done that before. That still qualifies as kind of day-to-day stuff. That's basic author stuff. You need something different. Something that will break you out of that rut, put you back on the path toward that mountain, but is also big enough that it challenges you. It gets you out of that comfort zone just enough to be able to break off a little bit bigger piece. You see where I'm going with this? Okay? The last thing for your next big move is it's got to be something impactful. Okay, and this is where the push toward the mountain comes in, right? We don't want to do something impactful, it's not impactful if we do something big and different that moves us away from the mountain, right? If you're the accountant in my analogy and you're doing boring stuff every day and you talk to the IRS every day and you decide you want to write a book that is a mystery novel about a lawyer and you're just doing it for fun, but your mountain is you want to be the best accountant in the world, writing that book isn't going to help you get there. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with doing something big and different in your life, but that's called a hobby. Maybe you take on woodworking and you want to build a chair in 6 months. That's valid. That's awesome. I've been there. I've done that. Built the chair. It sucked. Built the desk. It was a little bit better. Then I gave up. The point is, that didn't move me closer to my mountain if my mountain is be the most recommended thriller author on the planet. You see what I'm saying with this? It needs to be impactful to your career, to what you've determined your mountain to be. Okay? So your mountain's out there in the distance. You can see it. You know what it is. You've clearly defined it, right? Hopefully you have. That's great. It's a lot of times it's too big. It's too looming. It's too exasperating. How the hell am I going to climb Everest, right? I'm down here at the ground and I'm fat and out of shape. I don't even know. Like, I can't get there. So you break it down into what's called the next big moves. And in order for those things to be big moves, they have to be big. They have to be different and they have to be impactful, meaning they have to push you toward that mountain. Okay. So I can't define that specifically for you, but I can give you the framework and I can show you what that means. With the analogy of the accountant, I can tell you my own, but you're going to have to do the hard work after this. You guys, that's my favorite word, right? Hard work. Not because I like things to be hard, but because a lot of times we don't push ourselves enough to recognize where our boundaries really are. And I want you to sit down for at least half an hour at some point. It doesn't have to be right after this, but some point in the next week before my next live stream, and figure out, what is my next big move? What do I need to do that's big, that's different, that's impactful, moves me closer to my mountain, but isn't, that whole thing that I can't bite off all that at once. And it's bigger than just what I'm already doing. All right. It's hard work to do that because a lot of times we feel like we just know the answer. Okay. Well, yeah, I gotta really figure out ads. Do you? Why? Is that really big enough? Is that different enough than what you've already been doing? Huh? Is that impactful? Probably. Yeah. So the point is, you need to take some time to do this. It's hard work. I'm sorry. I wish it wasn't, but it is. But you're all capable of hard work because you wrote a book or you're writing a book. That's not easy. And once you do that, you realize hard work ain't so hard. It's just challenging. We just didn't understand it. We haven't defined it. Anyway, I'm not riffing on hard work. Here's the thing. How do you find your next big move? The way that I gave everyone in the retreat, the workshop, I have 2 questions that I ask myself that I gave to everyone. And hopefully this was helpful for them. Hopefully it'll serve you. The 2 questions I ask myself, so I've done this twice now since the accident, since I kind of changed my mindset about all this. And this has really helped me push forward. One of them was my next big move was launch this book career in a year, was get everything organized, all the nonfiction stuff that I'd kind of dabbled with, that I've tried, that I've said I couldn't do, and put it all together and organize it into something called Book Career in a Year. And that's not my mountain. Launching Book Career in a Year isn't my ultimate goal in life, but it is certainly a next big move. Okay, is this starting to make sense? So that I've done it twice now. That was one of them. Here's the questions I asked. 2 questions that I'm going to give you that I think will help you understand a little bit about how to find your next big move. The first question is, what have I done? What have you done? Ask yourself this. What have I done in the past to get to where I am now? Okay? What have I done in the past to get to where I am now? This is what have I done to get here? What worked then to get me to where I am now? And you know where I'm going with this. The reason you want to ask yourself that is if you know what worked to get you to where you are now, you know that's probably not going to be enough to get you to where you want to go. Okay, you're going to need more, bigger, impactfuler, more impact, more different, right? So there needs to be something that changes, something positive that changes. And you can't do that, you can't figure out what that thing is unless you recognize what got you to where you are right now. So if you got a journal, if you're taking notes, if you've got a planner, I don't have any that Robin and I are working on, secret. We're working on a planner. We'll talk about it later. Then take out whatever it is, right on your desk with a pocket knife. Look, I got mine that says Nick. Kevin Tomlinson gave it to me. Scratch it into your desk, whatever you need to do. Write this question down. What have I done in the past to get to where I am now? And then answer it. Just list stuff, brainstorm. I'm not going to give you any structure to how to do this. You know how to answer a question. Do it however you want. Doodle, draw pictures of cats, whatever it is. What got you to where you are now? And I'm not saying that once you answer this question, you need to get rid of all that stuff. Okay? I just want you to recognize that that is now your foundation. That's now your baseline or base camp if we're talking about mountains. That is your base camp. You're at base camp, okay? You've done all that stuff to get to base camp. But if you keep doing the same stuff, guess what? You're going to stay at base camp. Okay? This was the big shift for me that it clicked. I'm like, oh, well, I can't keep squirting out a nonfiction book every 5 years and thinking that that's building a nonfiction career. That's not enough. That's not my next big move. It can't be. Because what got me there isn't going to get me there. Fair? Second question, what do you see other people doing that you like, that you want, that you need? Okay, I'm going to give you permission. Throw your religion out the window. I'm going to let you covet. Okay, I'm going to let you steal, be jealous. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Don't be jealous. But the point is, recognize what other people are doing. Look at what I'm doing. Maybe I'm an example or role model for you. Maybe it's somebody else. Probably should be somebody else. But go find the person or people who you say, you know what, I don't know them personally, or I don't know enough about them. Maybe I'm wrong, but I bet it looks like they've got something that I want, like, or need. Maybe they have $1 million from writing fiction. Great, covet that. Go find that. Go look at that. But the reason we're doing this isn't so you can go steal their money. Because if you know how, I hope you'd let me know and we could do it. And we wouldn't have to do these live streams to get to $1 million. Joking aside, you got to look at other people because you need to know what's realistic. You need to know what's actually achievable. And if someone else has done it, it's probably achievable, right? They didn't accidentally slide into being a millionaire author. I guarantee it. They wrote a book, at least, to get there, okay? So you need to look at what other people have done that you like, that you want, that you need, that you can use to build into your next big move, okay? Maybe you're looking at somebody you think is at the top of the mountain you've defined. They're already on top of Everest. They're looking down at you going, come on up, come on up. Okay, now you get to look at them and pick apart their life a little bit. Maybe ask them, hey, look, I'd really like to get to where you are. Even if this isn't your mountain, it's mine, and you're there. It appears to be that you're there. What did you do to get there? And then you figure out, I like this, I want this, I need this. You put that scratch it onto your desk, okay? Put that in your notebook. Those are the two questions. What have you done in the past to get to where you are now? And what do you see others doing that you want, like, or need? Once you understand those two questions, once you have answers to those two questions, we can start to make a plan that will help us determine our next big move. Okay? Because again, just as a reminder, our next big move isn't the mountain, and it's bigger than our daily, day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month stuff. It's the next biggest thing that will get us closer to success. It's still a big goal. It's still something big to bite off. It's a smart goal, right? But it's not the ultimate goal. It's not the mountain. It's just big enough that we can see it still. It's that hill. Patty put in there, the closer you get to the mountain, the higher the hills you have to climb. Boom. Take that to the bank. This guy knows. He runs like 800 miles a day over hills. Ask him about it. The point is, he's right. Like, there's these stepping stones, and those are hills. These are like the hills, and in every single one can get bigger and bigger until you're on your mountain. But the point is, that hill is the next big thing. It's the next big move. That's what you're here to find, okay? All right, water break. Questions? Go ahead and put them in there. I won't probably answer them till the end, but I'm going to drink my water. Okay, break. Listen, hey, I'm going to kind of shift gears here because we've been talking around a concept that I want to spend some time talking about. And I hope this will be helpful to you, not just in terms of finding a next big move, but in terms of your life, in terms of, like I mentioned this accident, like things clicked and I understood a little bit more about what I wanted out of life. And I'm not there yet. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm getting a lot closer and the mindset is sort of there, figuring things out, okay? And I want to talk about success. Success. What does it mean to be a success? Because this is different than what you might read in a book, and I'm not saying that those are wrong, but I've got a definition of this that I want to give you because it's really helpful for me. Here's the reason. All these guys that, gurus, psychological, experts, masters at productivity, whatever it is, business, entrepreneur, people who write books, they're all very smart people and they all know a lot about this stuff. But none of them are in a Facebook group talking to fiction authors about how to build a career writing fiction. None of them. Okay? So I'm here, I'm telling you this, not as an expert, but as a fiction author trying to build a career writing fiction. Okay? So I want to kind of give you this because, look, if there's going to be anything about what success means and what it means to be a success from somebody who is in the same boat as you, maybe that'll be helpful for you. Fair? Okay, cool. So what does it mean to be a success? Look, if you look it up right now, you might find a definition that sounds like this. The accomplishment of an aim or purpose. Success is the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. That's not wrong. That's just one definition. But the problem with that definition is it's almost like the noun, right? It's almost like it's like a one-off instance of success. Because accomplishments are individual pieces, right? They come and go. I accomplished this and I succeeded at that. Therefore, by this definition, they're a success. But then what happens next? There's another accomplishment that you want to accomplish. And until you get successful at that accomplishment, until you achieve that accomplishment, are you not successful? Are you a failure then? So that doesn't work for me, right? The second reason I don't like this definition as much in terms of writing, fiction in his career, whatever, is that aims and purposes, purpose, it's a word, is that it? Aim and purpose differs in different areas. And this is where this gets a little different, okay? This is where it gets a little nicky rather than generally, okay? The aim and purpose. So the accomplishment of an aim and purpose is their definition of success, they being the internet. An aim and purpose is different in different areas. So I have changed this definition. I'm going to give you this definition. It's free. You're welcome. For me, success means, or to be a success, is to have a normal state of satisfaction in key areas. Success is a normal state of satisfaction in key areas. All right? What this means to me, and I'm going to kind of start at the end, and we'll define this way, but key areas. So there's more than one area. So instead of just an accomplishment, you wrote a book, you achieved your next big move, I don't think that makes you a success in general. Not because I don't like you, but because I don't feel like I'm a success if I'm just achieving satisfaction in one key area, right? So I'm going to give you 5. These are my areas. You can have your own. I hope that you will chew on these a little bit and determine which ones are your key areas. But for me, I've got 5 key areas, right, that I want to achieve a normal state of satisfaction. The first one is career. That's the obvious. That's what we're talking about today. You find your next big move, we're talking about career. That usually looks like financial goals or, promotion goals, whatever that is. But I want to achieve a normal state of satisfaction. Don't worry, we'll talk about the normal part. But I want to be satisfied in my career. I want to be satisfied in my family life and friends' life. I put those into kind of one category, people, if you will. I want to be satisfied in my physical life. This is a newer one for me. I used to think I'm healthy just because I was younger. That wasn't really true. Ask my doctor. I want to be successful. I want to be satisfied in my emotional state day to day. And I want to be satisfied in my spiritual state. I'm not talking religion necessarily. That looks different for everybody, so don't go yell at me for, not saying Buddhism or Christianity or Muslim, whatever. It's all fine. The point is spiritual life is what we're looking at here, okay? These are my areas. These are 5. I gave you 5. Career or financial, family, friends, physical, emotional, spiritual. These are the 5 areas that I want to feel satisfied in. Okay? Look, I also said the word normal. For me, success is a normal state of satisfaction in key areas. You get to define your own key areas for yourself. Okay? You're not me. You can use mine as a starting point. Maybe you've got some different ones, right? Maybe your kids need to be like a main key area because you just feel like that's out of balance for you. That's fine, whatever. The point is, I want to feel like a normal state of satisfaction. Not like, oh, I did one day really well and I feel satisfied, therefore I'm a success. But a normal state. Another way to say this, somebody from the retreat said this, you could be a default state. Success for me is when these key areas are defaulted to a state of satisfaction. Okay? This is really different as a definition, and I'm not saying that I'm right about it. I'm just saying that this is the way I'm approaching it. And for me to find my next big move, it has to involve something in one of these key areas, but I also need to have different big moves in each of these key areas. You see where I'm going with this? You also might be picking up on, wow, geez, Nick, that sounds like a lot of stuff, and it sounds like a really hard thing to achieve perfect satisfaction in all of these key areas, and you would be absolutely right. That's the point. Not to say that success is impossible by this definition, but to say that the work-life balance, whatever you want to say, it absolutely is possible because it's a constant, like, tuning of these different key areas. Managing energy over here in our physical life bleeds into our emotional and mental and spiritual state, does it not? Which then helps us be more successful in our financial or career life, which obviously makes us better people to be around for our family and friends. It's all related. You all know this. This isn't anything new. I'm just redefining it in terms of this is what it means to be successful. And if you want to achieve success, you can't just look at one thing. You can't just pick a next big move and accomplish it and say, I'm a success. Not by my definition. You may define it however you want and call yourself a success, but hey, I can say, well, if I stand up within the hour, I'm a success. And that's great, but that kind of feels cheap, doesn't it? So the point is not to cheapen your definition of success, but to give you mine and say, look, according to this, a normal state of satisfaction in key areas is what I call being a success or being successful. Then we just have to define those key areas, pick our next big move in each one or a few of them at a time, and then go work toward them. And we will be constantly moving toward this ideal of success. All right. Yeah, look, we can get into more identity stuff here. There's some stuff that I talked about at the retreat that you don't have because there's a book that you don't have in front of you. There's going to be time for questions as always, but I wanted to kind of leave you with these two big concepts. What is success? And then before that, we talked about your next big move. The success stuff, though, it's a little hard to talk about because it is squishy. It is a little bit, nebulous, if you will, a little vague. So I'm hoping to kind of break it down. And again, this is my definition, guys. I've chewed on this for a long time and done research and studied and all that, but it doesn't mean I'm right. It just means, hey, as I'm approaching this, yeah, it's great to have your next big move. It's great to see, okay, well, it's bigger than books and it's a little smaller than taking over the world with my books. It's something in between there. But I don't want you to be in, tunnel vision mode looking at that mountain, forgetting that part of that journey is going to involve other key areas you need to be successful in. And that might mean picking picking next big moves in each of those areas. So physical health, just pick that. What's your next big move there? Also have a career next big move. Nothing wrong with having more than one, right? Because I believe that as hard as it may be to tackle two of these at once, you probably need to. You've probably been slacking on one of them. And I'm not calling you out. I mean this with respect. Like I was slacking on the physical side because I thought, 20s, early 30s, that means health. No, it doesn't. Not necessarily, right? And then I started playing hockey and I realized the truth. I'm fat and out of shape and hockey is hard. So next big move, get good at hockey, right? Figure that out. We all know the people, right? Any movie you've seen, it's got the Wall Street guy, he's like, angry, nobody likes him, his kids hate him, and he might be physically fit, but he's a jerk, he's an asshole, everybody hates him, right? He's smoking cigars all the time, and he's probably not actually physically helpful, but but then there's the guy that's an even better example. You got a rich, super rich dude that's got everything career-wise, but he's fat and out of shape, and he's going to die in 10 minutes, right? These guys, I wouldn't say are successful according to the definition of achieving a normal state of satisfaction in these key areas. They're successful in individual areas. We all know those people, okay? And I'm not calling them out so that you can also point fingers and laugh. I'm saying consider your own life, your own career, your own stuff as this culmination of key areas that you have to define for yourself, and then work to achieve a normal state of satisfaction in those key areas. Are you a good father, husband, wife, spouse, whatever? Are you a good parent, son, daughter? Are you where you want to be in your relationships with other people? There's all these things you can do just in each key area to get a normal state of satisfaction. I can't tell you how to do it necessarily, specifically. I can tell you what I do, but it's not about that. The point is, that's how I define this stuff. That's how I talk about success. Once we kind of understand success in that way, once we sort of understand, okay, look, I see my mountain up there, but even though it's this intangible, analogous mountain, we're probably going to have to look at our physical health to get up there, our mental health to get up there, our relationships to help us up there, not just our career. Okay, so you're all here because we talk about career stuff. We talk about writing. We talk about business. We talk about entrepreneurship as it relates to authors writing fiction. That's all well and good. I want to check you, okay? Are you good in the other areas as well? Because if you're not, or you're not where you want to be, or you know you could be better, I want to challenge you. Getting better at those will make the other stuff easier. And if you don't believe me, you're wrong. You've heard this before. I'm not the first person talking about this stuff with you guys, right? I'm not talking to you necessarily. I'm talking to myself here. Normal state of satisfaction in key areas is success. And so while we pick out our next big moves and you take the time, like I said, half an hour this week to go write down what our next big move is, answer your questions that I gave you, be thinking about other next big moves in other key areas of your life. It's going to help. All of it's going to help with all of the other stuff. It's all just this big puzzle piece or puzzle. It's all these pieces of a puzzle that is us. Okay. And so anyway, I'm getting real weird and like spiritual and woo woo and stuff. So I'll stop. I got to get off at the top of the hour for another call, but I want to leave some time to answer any questions. This wasn't as, let's say, tactical as some other talks. But hey, we're bringing good stuff here. Hopefully strategy is important, just like tactics is important, and psychology and philosophy is important, just like how to run ads and technical stuff is important. So hopefully this helps. I saw a couple people, it's their first time. Hope it didn't blow your mind too much and freak you out and scare you away. I'm not, trying to present myself as anything other than, look, I'm learning, I'm on this journey with you. I'm walking up that mountain, looking at each hill. That's my next big move. That's my next big move. That's my next big move. I'm trying to unpack it the way I think about it so that you can understand a little bit about your own career, at your own goals, and your own next big moves, your own success. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that serves you. If you have a question, comment, whatever, drop it in the comments, wherever you're at. If you're in the Facebook group, I'll see it as soon as you post it, right away. If you're not in the wrong place, but I'm not going to get to it right now live. I'll see it later. I'll try to respond to it. If you're on YouTube, Tweetland, what do we call it now? X. If you're on X, it's so weird. I'll see that. I don't know if I never figured out Instagram, going live to Instagram. Who cares? It's Instagram. My Facebook page, the Nick Thacker marketing guy page, I'm going live there as well. Hopefully that's all the places. I don't think I forgot any, but wherever you are, if you're watching me right now, you can leave a comment if there's a way to leave a comment, but I'm in the Facebook group watching live right now. So if you've got a question or a comment, I'd love to hear it. I'll stick around for a few more minutes. Okay. Roland says good stuff. Thanks, man. You're kind of the master of this stuff. This is if you don't know Roland Denzel, he's, everything I said was like a baby version of like Roland's ability to unpack this and give you, how to eat, move, live, right? How to do all this really well. So if you are interested in any of that kind of just shameless, not self-promo, but Roland promo, go check him out because he gets real deep into this stuff and he's really good at it, really good at teaching, coaching it, helping you work toward that ultimate mountain goal by looking at your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual wellness, all that stuff. So thank you for saying that. Patty, thanks for being here. Robin, thanks for being here. Gentry, thanks for the GIF. By the way, it is pronounced GIF, not GIF, if anyone is curious. I know the original inventor, developer of the word GIF, or the term GIF, said it's GIF, but they were wrong. And you have it on good authority that I said so. It's GIF, folks. Okay. Anyway. Rose, thank you. Seriously, appreciate the knowledge. Hey, look, this is, it's, yeah, we can call it knowledge just because it came from a brain, but I don't believe that I'm the end all be all of this stuff. I'm kind of trying to struggle forward with this with everyone. And I feel like by doing this in a format like this, it's sort of a stream of consciousness I've got structure over here on the left, but I'm looking at it and then I'm kind of riffing on it. And I think there's some beauty in that. Maybe there's some hopefully helpful tidbits in that because I'm kind of processing it as we go. Even though I've presented this and I've worked through it and I've churned through it and I've done the research and all that, none of what I said is wrong necessarily, but it's just I'm still working through it. And I think it's helpful when I see somebody working through something, especially live or up on a stage or whatever, because it humanizes them, but it also lets me realize like, oh, okay, they're not perfect and they're still figuring this stuff out, and that makes me even more want to like go pay attention and try what they're saying. So I'm trying to adopt that model with you. I want you to pay attention and try what I'm saying because it's working for me and I'm getting closer to my mountain every day. And that's what I want for you. I don't do this so that you can see me walk closer to my mountain and clap and cheer and say, yay, we're on the bottom and looking up at you. I do this because I'm like, look, man, you can do this too. Here's how I'm doing it. Here's how I'm processing it. It hurts. It's hard. It's weird. Yeah, but do it. It's worth it. Being on top of that mountain is so much better than being at base camp. Robin asks, what if you have semi-okay middle steps, but you're not entirely sure what the mountain is? Yeah, so I briefly mentioned this. We didn't talk about the mountain, but you do need to know what that is. And I would recommend, first of all, go listen to Neil Gaiman's commencement address. At this point in time, what he said is kind of set in stone because he said it, and that he said it once. And then all of us have kind of like interpreted it and changed it and, riffed on it and stuff. So it's a little different now than what he originally said. But the concept is very simple. What is your ultimate goal? What do you want out of life? And you can break that into career. You can have a mountain for career. You can have a mountain for your physical health. Sure. But I really think it's bigger than that. I think it's your culmination. If I want to be the most, recommended thriller author on the planet, that's a huge goal. That's a big goal. But I just told you why I believe there's my physical health is part of that. I can't write the books as fast as I want if I'm not physically healthy enough to do it. So you need to take the time to go figure out what your mountain really is. What is it that you want? Okay. And it doesn't have to be related to books at all. The books can be a part of getting you to your mountain. So you can look at it that way. Like, I just want to be the absolute best mother, wife, kid, daughter, whatever it is. And that's good, but you got to define that then. What does that mean? What does that mean for your finances, for your friends, for your friendships, for physical, spiritual, emotional? All that stuff is true for that mountain. But go figure that mountain out. Go define it. And only then will the next big move kind of make sense in that. Because if you just have this vague, nebulous idea, there's a mountain, but it's behind the clouds, I can't see it, I think it's that direction, but I don't have a compass. You're just walking and you're doing cool stuff. And you might stumble into some success here and there in different key areas and achieve those little accomplishments, right? But that's not success by my definition, because it's not a normal state of satisfaction in key areas. Hope that makes sense. Go figure out your mountain first. Yeah, can't do this without that. I wish you could. You can't. I mean, most people know themselves well enough to be able to guess and get it correct some of the time, but know yourself well enough to know exactly what that mountain is, and you'll be better off for it, I promise. Patty tells me to keep rocking. I used to be a rocker. I used to not have gray hair. I had hair down to my shoulders. It was beautiful. It was like locks. It wasn't curly. It was kind of straight, but it did that Scott Stapp thing, on the shoulders and with arms wide open all day long. All day long. I was a rock and roll. Anyway, nobody needed to know that. Totally true though. Hey, Creed is back together again. I don't know if you guys knew that. They're doing a cruise. Oh, so good. Anyway, any last questions, any parting thoughts, feel free to drop them in. I'm in the Facebook group, Book Career in a Year. Facebook.com/groups/Book Career. You find it just like that, or FB.com will work too. Yeah, I got a question from Haley. How specific does that mountain need to be? Is it enough to say I want to support myself, my family, with my writing in a certain amount of years, or should I be more specific, income or number of books be included? Look, I think the key to this, just like with climbing a real mountain, you want to know as much as you can about that mountain before you go. There's different routes up there, right? You may have to make adjustments as you go. You probably will have to make adjustments as you go. Weather comes in on one side, you got to move over to this route. But if you don't know those other routes, if you haven't studied that mountain, you don't really know how to get up there. I'm not a rock climber, guys. I'm just making this up as I go along. But that seems pretty reasonable, right? Forget that analogy. The point is, yes, with this, the more specific you can be, the better. There's no reason not to be specific. However, you got to understand that you're going to have to change course a little bit. But if you're specific about what the end goal is, you know that changing course isn't going away from your mountain. It's just going around a hill, or it's going on another hill to get a better placement up the mountain. So yeah, it's potentially enough to say, I want to support myself, my family with my writing in X number of years. And you got to fill in the number X. Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it 10? Whatever. But what does that mean when you say to support? Is it $50,000 a year? Is it $150,000 a year? Is it $1 million? What's the goal? So, and then how does that look? I mean, is it that gross revenue, net revenue? You may not be able to figure that out yet because you don't really know what it's going to cost to advertise your particular series in this particular, economy and whatever. But you should know how much it's going to cost to live and how much it's going to, take to get there. And then what does it look like in your day to day in order to make that kind of money? Try to have plans for that. Put that in your mountain, if you will. Make that your mountain. The more specific you can be, the easier it's going to be getting there, as long as you understand and recognize and acknowledge that you're going to have to change course a little bit or a lot of bit, but you're going to have to just move things around. So don't be afraid to not make a plan called "This is my mountain" because you think, well, I'm going to change plans. I don't want to spend all this time planning. No, 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 no. That's the beauty of it. Make the plan. Decide on your mountain. Figure out what it is. Unpack it. Define it. Be very, very specific about it. Just know that your routes up to that are going to change. Hope that helps. Roland used to have long, very flowy hair too. Yes, that's correct. I've seen it. These pictures. There were the old pictures. You had to go like this, and it was like when the bulb exploded. I'm just kidding. He's not that old. Is he? I don't know. He eats a lot of kale. He might be like 75 years old, and nobody would know. He looks like he's 30. Hopefully that's a compliment. I didn't just call him old. All right, I got to jump off in a minute. I hope that helps. I hope that serves you guys. If you do have more questions, drop them in. I'll come back later, debrief and all that, and try to respond as best I can to anything that I didn't catch or any questions that come in after the fact or on any other platforms that you guys are watching from. Go tell all your friends that this is the cool place to be. Go download the app. Let's make this a cool thing. I want to make a movement out of this. It's not just a fun group where people get to hear me pontificate about stuff. This is a movement, and you are part of the movement. And the more people we get to acknowledge that the world needs more books and the world needs your book, the more people are going to come here and go, cool, I'm here. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's make this happen. Your career is on the line, and you get to define what that career is, and you get to define how you want to do it. I'm just hopefully giving you the resources, the tools, and the training stuff to just help you get there. All right. Hope this is helpful. I'm going to go. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for watching, listening, and hopefully we'll be back to regular stuff coming up. I've got a conference in late September, some things in between, but I'm hoping we can still do this. I'm hoping we can still do these lives. And of course, if this isn't working for you, if you're watching later, let me know. If you want me to move it to Sunday afternoon, we'll kind of do like a informal poll, and we can move it around. We can certainly change the date. I'm not set on this date. It just happens to work for me. So thank you all. I appreciate you, and I will see you next week.